bugaboo surrounding Jesus is his rather unmoving stance that he is the only way to heaven, which is obviously not fair. On that point, you are absolutely right. Christianity is in no way fair. It's certainly not fair that one side of the relationship has to take on the lion's share of the work. First, God had to make a universe, including, of course, our sun, the moon, and our home planet Earth. Then, he had to create an intricate timeline for humanity to start modern civilization, which of course led to you. Then Jesus had to do what you can't do, which is pay for your transgressions, which, to be clear, are your transgressions. Is any of that fair? No, not for a second. He didn't intend any of it to be fair. He intended it to be overflowing with grace. So please, don't ever ask God for what's fair. You will not like the answer. As I prepared for this series, one major point blew me away. Jesus declared himself to be many things, but he kept coming back to his big three. He's the bread of life, he's the living water, he's the light of the world. I think the obvious point he's making is that we all need food, light, and water to survive, and he personifies all three. But when Jesus says he's the light of the world, what does he mean exactly? What if Jesus' claims were more audacious than just saying he's the source of warmth for every Thomas Kinkade painting? What if this claim was his biggest ever? In the book of Hebrews, it hints that Jesus holds the universe together, which basically means he's gravity. But this may be even more earth-shattering. For God to create the universe, he has to be outside of time. He has to be eternal. Okay. He has to be the most powerful force that anyone's ever heard of. But what if he didn't just create light? What if God is light? If Jesus is literally the light of the world, then he travels at about 700 million miles per hour. I would follow him, but I'm way too out of shape to keep up. If this is true, imagine for a moment the power that comes with the word Jesus. This should blow the image of the nice, meek, unassuming Jesus out of the water. He was indeed meek, but the definition of meek is a powerful animal who's under control. A trained horse is meek, but you treat them as weak at your peril. Imagine Jesus like that, but to the 1 billionth power. He is the most powerful force in the universe who humbled himself to the point of death. Take a breath, step back, and see Jesus for who and what he truly is. My conclusion is he's worthy to be worshipped. Fun fact, Jesus raised three people back from the dead. The first was a widow's only son who was raised at his own funeral in the town of Nain. The second was a synagogue leader's daughter. The last resurrection was his friend Lazarus. He'd been dead for 4 days, but Jesus called out his name and Lazarus walked out of his tomb. The most miraculous thing about all three events is that not a single person signed a book deal. Next week, we look at all the reasons why you don't want to believe.